This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I think instead of doing something here, we better. Okay, fine, no issues. I can. Okay, so you first, should understand that. So how a project journey, how it is going to start and from where this is going to start. Do you have an idea? Like, say, let's say example, we have a lot of applications. Right? The domain can be different, like social media websites, or e-commerce website, or hospitality, or insurance, medical, whatever it is. So a project should understand that. So what is the whole journey of the project, from where it starts and from where it will going to be end. Okay. So luckily that you have a good a good knowledge about that UI UX thing. So that is the first step. When the actual work is going to start. Okay. So that is the
Mhm.
first thing. So let's assume that this is the first thing that we have UI and UX thing. Okay.
Mhm.
So before that UI UX also, yes, of course, there is a like collecting of requirement from the client. So that job can be done by business analyst team. Usually, this is how the entire flow. Okay. So if,
Mhm.
if you are not understanding something, just please you can stop me and you can ask me question. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so when I'm saying that UI UX thing, right? So once that the discussions and all is happened, okay. So immediately the actual work is going to start from here. UI UX skills. So usually these guys will create the prototype. So the other what we can say that wireframes in Figma, Adobe Excel, whatever the tool it was. Okay, it is okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So once the screen is design, so of course it is going to when to it is going to be client place for approval. Once we get the approval and all, what actual work gonna start. So the first thing is, okay, I'll excuse me.
You're good.
I hope you are aware of that, what stands for FE.
No.
Okay, so it's front end.
Okay.
Okay, front end.
Mhm.
So you, most of the people used to call that, earlier they used to call that, UI development or UI designing something. So now it is like, purely we have a different stack terminologies are spreading around the IT industry. So I hope you are aware of that, full stack technology, right? So whenever we talk that full stack technology, so it is like, mixing up that front end development and back end development, as well as taking care of DevOps,
Mhm.
right? So when we
Yeah.
are clubbing everything together, that we used to call that full stack development. Okay, so now this is that front end thing, and next what is going to happen. So next it is going to be a B, which stands for backend development.
Mhm.
Okay, and next what you should understand. Okay, and
Mhm.
next
What's DB?
I'll tell you, database. Have you ever heard the database word? I hope you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in simple terms, this is the actual flow of an architect. You can say that, or maybe the development flow or journey of the application. Okay. So this
Mm-hmm.
is purely technical, that technical things I'm talking. Okay, so before UI UX, yeah, definitely there was some discussions and all going to happen between the clients and business requirement people. Even so, once the DevOps job is done, so there is a one more phase that we have in the application, that is called like QA testing. Okay, so that is again it has like a different ways of QA, like manual testing, automation testing, and different we have. Okay, so we are not
Mm-hmm.
actually going to talk the before UI UX process and after DevOps process much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the flow of that everything. So what exactly we are going to look into all these sessions is only for FE, all
Mm-hmm.
the front end technologies only. So why I have given this this shapes and like to understand the flow or journey. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now once the UI UX is done, so we are going to come this place. So front end development, yeah, for sure. If you want to do that front end development part, so we need some sort of technologies, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And if you talk about JavaScript framework, there are a lot of frameworks or libraries in the market right now. And any
Mm-hmm.
CSS library that is I'm just giving an example of Bootstrap. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so these are the things. Okay, so I hope like you have a basic idea of what stands for HTML and what stands for CSS.
I don't.
Also, okay, so HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. We'll discuss more all these points when it comes to FE. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, like we are going to cover this only, right? So these are the technologies that we are going to learn and do the front end development part. You may hear like new technologies like Angular, React, or, jQuery or something else. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
those all are frameworks or libraries under this JavaScript. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And when it comes to Bootstrap, that I have mentioned here, right? So it is not something like a language. It is like just a kind of library that we have, where we can simply build the responsive websites. You know what it
Mm-hmm.
mean by, right? So we already covered that. So eh, without maybe you can ask question like without Bootstrap, that we can't we build the website responsive websites? Yes, we can build, but the point is Bootstrap is a has predefined information. We no need to write something from the scratch. So Bootstrap gives everything to us. Maybe in simple terms you can say like Bootstrap is a ready-made thing. So if you want to buy
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, ready-made thing, you don't need to worry much, right? So you don't need to go to purchase that cloth, and you don't need to go to for a tailor and all that. We all know that when it comes to ready-made, we can straight away go to shop and we can purchase and we can wear it, right? So
Yeah.
Bootstrap is a kind of library, okay, where it simplifies the responsive process instead of writing
Mm.
everything from the scratch. So if you want to avoid the Bootstrap, and if you want to write something from the scratch, it definitely takes more time. And we never know. Again, there is a problem with the front end thing is we have to manage the application, or whatever the website or application. The two things that we need to consider in our mind, one is that responsive thing, whatever the device it is, it has to be fit that specific device. And second main and most important thing is browser compatibility. So right now if
Mm.
you see that we have a lot of browsers, right? So usually
Mm-hmm.
if I ask you something like can you tell me like one or two browsers what you use regularly, so you may say like Chrome or Firefox or maybe Internet Explorer, right? But still
Mm-hmm.
we have a lot of browsers. Okay, which we are not
Yeah.
using day to day. So if you look at that mobile has a different browsers. But the problem is, what is the difficult task here? So HTML elements or CSS properties, whatever we have, those properties may not support in those browsers. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, so whenever we depend on any of the libraries, these library will take care of all these problems mainly. These are the very basic problems. Instead of you are writing something,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting my point.
Yeah.
Any question?
No.
Okay. Okay, this is for the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and there are a lot of technologies coming to the front end part, and this is the back end. Okay, so I hope you are already here some of the backend technology like a Java, .NET,
Mm-hmm.
Python, PHP, right?
Yeah.
These are all a backend languages. So we are using them for creating that APIs. Okay, so I'll come to later that what is mean by API and all. Okay, so those
Mm-hmm.
are the technologies that what I have mentioned just now here, like Java, Python, .NET, PHP, Node.js. Okay, when it comes to DB, okay, we have a lot of DBs. You may have an idea about this MySQL, SQL, PostgreSQL. Okay, so when it comes to DevOps, we have AWS, Azure. Okay, this is completely like a deployment process where we can once our application is ready. Okay, so we somewhere we have to you know, uh, push those application and all, right, the code and all. So then only people can access it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what comes under DevOps. Okay, so far any question do you have?
No.
Okay,
We're not.
so
Well, sorry. We're not going over like Python
mhm,
and SQL.
mhm, mhm.
We're not going over that, right?
No, we're not going with that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to that. So why I'm telling this, maybe we may ask a question like that. I told you, right? So a person I'm a person kind of that, not just to mention that, simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, Bootstrap, but these are the classes. These are the, classes, and this is the, properties, syntaxes. So
Mm-hmm.
people whoever is learning front end technology, okay, whatever these, they should aware of the whole functionality of that application structure.
Mm.
Otherwise, it's gonna be a difficult. Why I'm saying that, maybe you learn something HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, maybe somebody asks
Mm.
you that, and okay, I'm going to build one API in Python. So will you be integrate that into your application using with the front end technologies? I mean, I don't want you to give a blank face to them, because the terminology at least you should know it. What is the API? So why they are using that in a Python to build APIs, or Java to build
Mm-hmm.
APIs, or .NET to build APIs? Maybe few people are talking about, when you are in a work environment, people will talk. There is some issue in the database, and we are not actually receiving that records. Even though you are not part of the DB side or backend side, you should aware of the terminologies, how it is going to work. This is the
Yeah.
most important thing, because these three are the major. First, forget about the UI, UX, and DevOps. These three are the major pillars for a pure development.
Mm.
You're
Okay.
getting my point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us say I'll give you like a one example. So I hope you used to you are using that Facebook, Instagram, all
Mm-hmm.
these social media applications, right? Or Amazon,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you one question to you. So whenever you open any website, okay, usually it is going to ask you like a login screen, right?
Yeah.
Before login, definitely if you don't have a credentials, I mean the login credentials with you, there will be like a sign
Mm-hmm.
up form, right?
Yeah.
Forget about the sign up form for some time. So you have a hope you
Uh-huh.
have a account in Facebook, and whenever you open the Facebook, it is asking you to enter that email address or password, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now you tell me based on your understanding skills, okay, so far like whatever you learned. So this entire thing, so whenever you enter something in the those input fields, email and password, and when you click the enter, so what is going to
Mm-hmm.
happen? So usually your account is going to open, right? If the credentials are
Yeah.
valid, right? So
Excuse
now
me?
you
Well, I missed what you just
yeah.
said.
No, no. So whenever you enter that valid credentials, your account is going to open, right?
Civil code?
No, no, no. I'm talking about that. Let's say if you open the Facebook, okay.
Uh-huh.
So if you are trying to log in into Facebook, so it is going to ask initially login username and password, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you enter something in the username field and password field, and when you click the submit button, your account will open, right? Or
Yeah.
you are
Mm-hmm.
redirecting to that your profile, right? Now you
Yeah.
tell me, okay, this entire
Uh-huh.
functionality is a simple functionality and everybody does every day, right?
Yeah.
And in this functionality, exactly the front end role or what is the back end role of it and what is the DB?
The front end
Hmm?
would be how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
The back end would be the sort of um it would be like the I'm not sure. Would
Okay,
would DB be the sort of security?
okay. So I'm fine. Okay, I understood. No, no, now I understood. I know where exactly you are. Okay, so once
Uh,
you know this information, okay, how actual it is happening, usually no one will care about that when you enter username and password and when you click the submit button, nobody will cares that what exactly going to happen. But being as a techie, being as a front end developer, being as a back end or whatever the IT person should know it, what exactly is going to happening. Otherwise there is no use to, there is no point, right? You're getting my
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is going to happen now? Okay, let me open that. Okay, I do not have account, but I'll tell you like what is going to happen here. Okay, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that correct one is it is a complete UI thing. When we are
Mm-hmm.
talking about this, so once UI UX people gives this screen to front end team, okay,
To just
they
yeah.
will create they will create this using with HTML and CSS. That is the first thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and when you enter something, okay, so maybe you are entering some name and some password to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and when you click on the login button, so you are definitely going to log in with your valid credentials, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what is the meaning of that? So when you are logging into the Facebook system, that means that you have an account in Facebook. So how would that Facebook knows that you have an account and whatever the credentials that you are entered, these are correct.
Oh, that's in the database?
Exactly. So whenever you create an account, the sign up process, whatever the details that you are going to add, somewhere it has to store, right? Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
what is the point? We have a cross of people and everybody is logging every day, and we can use
Mm-hmm.
other credentials as well, right? So
Yeah.
that is the database. Okay, so now we have a front end thing that we are talking, and we discussed that where all our details has been stored. And front end, we know, like, how we are going to build with HTML and CSS, and when it comes to DB, it is something kind of storing the data. Then what is the point of the BE? As we have a front end screen here, and we understood that if my credentials are if my email ID and password are matched with the Facebook database, I'm going to access my profile. That is the database. If my credentials are there in DB, that is fine. Then what is the point of this middle one? Here is the
Mm,
actual point will come. So in other words, we used to call B as a middleware. Okay,
what was it?
so try to understand middleware.
Oh, middleware. Okay.
Middleware. Okay, so whatever the technology that I have been mentioned here, right? So in other words, we used to call this as a middleware. That is the reason I placed this in between front end and DB.
Mm-hmm.
What what actual people are thinking, like, maybe who have a bit idea. Whenever I enter something in the this is the front end I built, and whenever I have email ID, and when I enter something, and when I click the login button, if my details are part of that DB, so I'm going to redirect to my profile. But in between, we need to understand one statement here. We cannot, let me take this. We do not have this access. Okay, so what you
Mm-hmm.
have to understand in other way, from the front end, we cannot hit the DB, or we cannot check whether my credentials are there in DB or not. There is no access to directly from front end to DB.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even
Yeah.
though,
Is it
if
because
let
it's
us
not safe?
say, yeah, so if let's say example, you have login, you enter the correct credentials, and whenever you click the submit button, you are redirecting to your profile, and in your profile you can able to see all the information whatever you have already added previously, right? That is also part of the
Mm-hmm.
DB, right? Maybe you are
Mm-hmm.
thinking that all my details whatever I have in the DB, everything is coming and showing in the front end directly. No, this is where the actual story is. So this middleware is taking our request from the front end whenever you click the submit button, and it is going to search in the DB. It has access, direct access, not from FE to DB. You have access for B to DB and DB to BE back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from the front end, so as I told you, we do not have access, direct access to DB. Okay. So we used to hit where we used to talk with B. So we have to talk with the bee, and then only bee gives some response to us. So this entire thing, in other terminologies, is called as API, Application Programming Interface. I hope now you understand how you are going to log in into all the uh, social media accounts.
Yeah. One
Yeah,
question.
please.
So does DB have access to FE?
Sorry, debate has access to what?
FE? Or is that necessary?
No, no. That's
Okay.
what I told you. Okay, maybe a simple thing. Okay, so with HTML and CSS, okay, we can build this
Mm.
UI.
Yeah.
Okay, we can build same input fields, login buttons, create new account, and everything. Okay,
Mm.
and whenever you enter something, and when you click on the login button, do you think that this page is redirected to your profile?
No.
No, because this is just a static UI.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just a static UI, so you have to communicate to that BE saying that this is my credentials. So this, whatever the credentials I have, this is my credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what BE will take your credentials, maybe the username it will take, but the password whatever you are entering, right? that definitely going to be encrypt, and then this PE will verify in DB if your whatever the data that in DB, it will get filterized with that. So once B has found a record with your credentials, it will give it immediately to B. From B only will take and will print it to FE.
Mm.
Okay, so now we are talking about a positive flow. Your credentials are there in you have an account in Facebook and you log in with that, and you have logged in, and the credentials has matched with DB, and it is returning the profile on that. Now let us talk about a negative case. Let's assume that you entered a wrong password. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what it is going to happen? It will show some error, right?
Yeah.
Let's say for example, I have this number. I'm entering some wrong. Is it going to take or what? Usually my system is not that much slow. Yeah. Okay. So it is showing something. Okay. So the password you enter is incorrect. It took a lot of time for me to uh, showing this error message. So even
Mm-hmm.
here also, what is going to happen? Okay, same functionality. How we were talking here in the same way. Okay, so it will first
Mm-hmm.
check the DB through this PE, and it will check that whether the email ID is getting matched with that or not. If not, it is giving some results. So for your better understanding, what I am going to tell you. So I'll give you some number to it. I'll show you something to you.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you click a login button, what is going to happen? So some requests are going to happen here. Okay, maybe now I cannot able to show you this. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but if you see this right, it is actually checking. That is the reason it is taking time,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is showing that the password you entered is incorrect, and whatever the links that we have, right, it is showing. Okay, so this is used to call as a server side validation.
So,
Okay, server-side validation. What server-side validation does do, whenever you enter that actual credentials are not part of the database, it will give that that invalid credentials or something.
mm-hmm.
Now, let us say if you click the login button here, I didn't enter the password. If you observe that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what it is going to tell me. Any guess?
You haven't entered.
No, I didn't enter anything.
Yeah.
This is a kind of bug. Okay, so it must say that saying it must inform us to like to the end user you didn't enter the password
Mm.
because I didn't enter anything. No, but it
Yeah.
mentioned the password that you have entered is incorrect. I didn't enter anything. So the other way, whenever this password field is empty and still if I click the login button, here
Mm-hmm.
itself I can stop the end user. Instead of checking in database, here itself I can stop end user. Hey user, you did not enter the password. First, you must enter the password first. That is called client side validation. Okay. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
checking in the database and all. Okay. That is client side validation. That part can be done using with the JavaScript.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the page, I hope you understand like how the page is going to design with the HTML, CSS, as you also said the same thing, and how the what importance of the JavaScript. Okay, so let us say for example, if I usually it is going to ask the 10 number, I mean 10 digits set for the phone number. If I enter only five
Mm-hmm.
here, just 9 or 4 9898. Still, if I click that login button. Still again, it is taking a request to that DB, and then it is going to check. But using with the JavaScript, what we can do whenever user clicks on submit login button, see the password that you entered is incorrect. Again, it is just I don't understand like how it is going
Yeah.
to show all this. Okay, but I'm telling you that whenever we have like 4 digits, simply we can stop the end user here. Hey, the mobile number limit is 10, so please enter 10 digits.
Mm.
Or maybe we can say like mobile number is not a valid format or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that validations we can make using with the JavaScript.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope
Mm-hmm.
you understand that how the flows are working, like the application flow from front end, back end, and DB.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you will actually going to focus on only on this. Okay, so when
mm-hmm.
you learn everything like front end, BE, DB, DevOps, you will become a full stack developer for sure. But yeah, so we are going to talk only on front end only in this entire session.
Okay. One question. So I
Sure.
know front end is more like what you see, and back end
Mhm.
is more like, or sorry, DB is sort of the like checking part of it, the security
Mhm.
and the
No,
data of
no,
it.
no, no. Oh, no, no. 1 second. So, then I just want to correct this. It's not
Mm.
a checking thing. It is just kind of storage.
Okay.
So you should
Yeah.
understand DB in that way.
Yeah. So the data
Okay. So
is
once
stored
you have
there.
a wardrobe, then only once you have a wardrobe, and if you put everything, then only you can start finding something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
yeah. So you can
I
consider
understand.
DB is a storage. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand those two, but what exactly does backend do? Just connect the two,
Okay.
or
Yes, you are right. So let
okay.
us say it's the same example I'm giving here, right? So what it is going to take, as I told you, we do not have direct access from FE to DB, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have your credentials, you have already created your account in Facebook, and this is only front end part. As you do not have access to DB directly from the front end, somebody has to there in between to take your credentials and check in the DB, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting my point.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the reason middleware. Okay, or maybe in other words, for a better understanding, you can take like a messenger
So
also.
that's the only function
Um,
of
yeah, that's the only
backend?
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
see,
okay. I thought there
yeah,
was
right.
more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you are right, but we cannot take that. Backend is like just a middleware of two things. We cannot simply ignore that because without the backend, there is no point, right? Even you have a lot of records in the DB, you have a 1 lakh records in the DB, you have a front end screen, then what is the use, right?
Yeah.
So we have two different entities and there is no connection between two of them, and somebody has to do their job in between to take your the same way just now we discussed only login screen, Darshana. We have a sign up, and once you did the sign up and all right, once you log in into your account, you can post anything in the Facebook, right? And again the
Mm-hmm.
post has to store in the DB storage. Again I told you that, again I'm telling that no, there is no access from the front end, right? So for each and
Mm-hmm.
every time, whenever you do the sign up, login, commenting something, liking something, sharing something, adding friends something, okay, whatever, all this it has, somebody has to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is only the a middleware does that entire thing. So that's the reason I told you that API, application interface, application programming interface. So whatever the details that you are entering, whether it is a form, whether it is a like, or whether it is you are posting photos, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Facebook or Instagram, you are posting photos. So photos, whenever let's say example, you have posted 10 photos now. After 10 minutes, if you verify your account, are you able to see still the 10 photos, or the photos count is showing as a zero?
Oh, show the 10 photos.
Yes, so that means that the 10 photos has been stored, stored in DB. So along with your profile, right? I mean, in your profile, there
Mm-hmm.
is a relation, and at the same time, somebody has to do their job right in between. So
Yeah.
somebody has to take your 10 photos and store into DB. And it is a huge work in between every time. Whenever we click, see each and every click, right? Whatever is happening in the Facebook, everything is going to take that business. I mean, back and forth and storing the data, or maybe retrieving the data. Okay,
Pardon?
storing the data in
Yeah.
this is storing the data and retrieving the
Mm-hmm.
data. So in technical terminology, we used to call this as a request. The above one is a request and below one is the response.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so without BE, we cannot do anything. And even though in DB also, we have like, lot of tables and columns. We have to, BE will give you like, proper instruction to DB. Okay, so take these records and put in this format. Or take these photos, put here. Like these instructions and all, everything will be done by BE only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So simple
Okay.
example, right? So now you are there and you have a wardrobe, and whatever the objects that you have, if you throw everything together into your wardrobe, it will be difficult, right? Still, that is a database. Still, it is a storage, but there is a certain format for them, right? So that entire
Mm-hmm.
part will be taken care, maybe whatever the things that category wise, okay, and in a correct format, and everything will be taken care by this only. So we cannot ignore that.
Mm-hmm.
You getting my point?
Yeah.
Um, any more question?
No question.
Yeah. So from tomorrow onwards, so we are going to focus on front-end technologies, early in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. Okay. So if you ask me, like, we have a lot of technologies like UI, UX, DevOps, backend developers, which is like a Java developers, Python, .NET developers, and database developers, front-end developers. But what is the main demand of that? I mean, which technology has a more demand? So in this entire flow, I used to
Mm-hmm.
say that commonly to the people, this front end and DB has always a late demand. What is the toughest
Mm-hmm.
part? That if you ask me that what is the toughest part in this internet, I'll go give my vote to UI UX, because this is where that actual journey starts,
Really?
right? Yes, of
To me,
course,
it's
because
easy.
see, no, no. I mean, see, that's what I'm telling. No, making this
Yeah.
page is not a difficult thing. Everybody can do that.
Uh-huh.
Everybody can do that. Okay, so for that, we no need to be like a masters in UI UX. So if you ask
Yeah.
somebody, like whoever is accessing the Facebook, can you give me some
Uh-huh.
suggestions? Change this. They will give some suggestions. But
Yeah.
do you think that client will accept that?
No.
No, that is the biggest challenge, to convince the people, right?
Yeah.
To convince people, and you have to manage that. If you put that Facebook color as a blue color here, you have to give a proper answer why you are keeping blue color instead of green,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean to
Mm-hmm.
say that, difficult in the sense, in terms of it is a more creative job. So that is the reason we have, for UI UX has a very less thing, as long as people has a creativity, definitely they will survive in UX, UI UX. If not, then 100% there is no chance. So it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Okay, one example to you. Okay, let us say example. We have this email and password fields, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agree? Login.
Yeah.
And if you open the Amazon, for in Amazon also you'll have that email ID and password fields, right? If
Yeah.
you open the Flipkart, If you open the Instagram, if you open the Gmail, if you open some XYZ, if you open
Mm-hmm.
or if you look at all of the website, can you tell me like what is the login fields in general? You can say like username and password or email ID or password, right?
Uh-huh.
And one submit.
Yeah.
That is a very common in all the websites. But do you really think that the UI is same in all the websites?
No.
No, right? That is where that answer is there. The functionality is
Mm.
same. If you see that in the login and password, and this button is common everywhere, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So so first of all, we have to make sure to do some creative stuff in UI UX. Then after, this is where, because if you do only UI UX thing, right? Like the one small image of this in Figma or whatever it is, who will make
Mm-hmm.
the HTML and CSS code, right?
The front. Yeah.
Yeah. So that again is going to be a difficult task. So maybe they can, a backend team, okay, these guys has the same functionality of email and password and for this login. They can copy the code from some other application and they can put here and they can change something. But do you really think that you can copy the UI code?
No.
Then it's same as other website, no?
Mm-hmm.
You're getting my point.
Yeah.
And why I'm okay. So why I should think in that way in that much in the UI, because the UX screen is gave me a different design. So I have to follow that. So there is no copy paste kind of thing won't work here. I should write enough. Definitely, I should write enough proper properties to it.
Mm-hmm.
You getting my point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you for front end thing, right? So definitely when
Yeah.
it compared with other things, front end has a, like more demand in the market.
Okay.
Obviously,
Yeah,
yeah. So if you
because
ask me now, yeah. So in right now, what is happening for UI UX screens, we are actually getting in the internet as well nowadays. Frequently, we are getting that, but the code is we are not actually getting proper way. Most of the people are, if you go for a templates and all, most of the people are giving the templates, but who is going to write the code for front end? And
yeah,
for
that's
password and
that's
all
why I'm
this because of uh what?
yeah. A lot of the jobs that I want, they're saying I need to know HTML, CSS,
Yeah, definitely.
even in
Yeah. So
what's
yeah,
designer.
understood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, got you. Okay, I think that's all for today. So we can
Mm-hmm.
continue tomorrow, same time.
Okay.
I think you are okay with that, right? The timing and all.
Yeah. I thought you said 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it the
Sure.
same
Yeah.
link?
I think they will inform the same thing to you. They will confirm that. You can ask that
Okay.
Ramna or somebody whoever is doing that. No, you can ask them.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
Okay. We're good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.